Hello, my name is Wendy Fritz. I am in Professor Krepps' drama class, and this is my presentation on how Stephen King became the king of horror. Stephen King was born September 21st, 1947, in Portland, Maine. He is 76 years old and is married to Tabitha King. They live in Florida now and have 3 kids, Naomi, Joe, and Owen. King was a lifelong fan of speculative fiction, and he started writing seriously while attending the University of Maine. But he started writing when he was about 6 or 7 years old. He just started copying panels right out of the comic books, and then making up his own stories. From the beginning, film was a major influence. He loved the movies from the start, so when he started writing, he had a tendency to write in images because that's all he knew at the time. His favorite time to write was in the morning. Mr. King has significantly impacted the film and movie industry. He has captivated readers for decades with his unique horror suspense and fashion fiction brand. His unique blend of suspense, terror, and psychological horror has inspired countless writers and filmmakers. His influence can be seen in the works of modern horror authors like Joe Hill, as well as in popular TV shows like American Horror Story and Stranger Things. King is very important to the movie industry. He is an excellent writer who writes stories that work well with the cinema. His novels and short stories have been adapted into successful movies and TV shows, including classics like The Shining, Carrie, and even The Simpsons. These adaptations have helped to bring King's stories to a broader audience and have contributed to the popularity of the origin in the mainstream media. The Shining is a 1997 horror novel that was adapted into a film in 1980 and into a miniseries in 1997. It is his 3rd published novel and first hardcover bestseller. The Shining became a classic for a reason. It's a twisted ghost story, but it's also a painful portrait of a man's mental breakdown. One of the scenes from the movie is still popular to this day. It is Jack Torrance's face, played by Jack Nicholson, peeping through the hole in the door that he chopped with an axe, trying to get to his wife Wendy, played by Shelley Duvall, yelling, "Here's Johnny!" It will never be forgotten. That clip has been played over 100 million times. Some of his bestsellers are It, that was released on November 20th, 1990, Firestarter, that was released on May 11th, 1984, Children of the Corn was released on March 9th, 1984, and Pet Sematary, that was released on April 21st, 1989. Stephen King worked on endless list of movies. A few of his favorites that are icons are Misery, that was released on May 30th, 1990. It's about a crazy woman, played by Kathy Bates, that became obsessed with the character played by Paul Newman, that takes a dark, evil, twisted turn. It goes really bad, really quick. The Stand, that was released on May 8th, 1994. It's a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy fiction novel between good and evil, with characters played by Stephen King himself and Gary Sinise and a few of the other characters, that turned into a miniseries soon after. There is also Rose Red, that was released on January 27th, 2002. It's a miniseries based on a true story that happened around January 15th, 1909. John and Ella Sakina arrived at Rose Red, and it quickly became deadly. Another cult classic is Christine. It was released on December 19th, 1983. It's about a 1958 Plymouth Fury named Christine with a mind of her own that wants to kill. It has actors played by Keith Gordon and Arnie Cunningham. That movie scared the crap out of me. It was one of the most terrifying movies I had ever seen. Mr. King has also received numerous awards and nominations for his work, including multiple Bram Stoker Awards and World Fantasy Awards. He also received British Fantasy Society Awards, as well as the National Medal of Arts, Medal of Distinguished Contribution to American Letters, and the O. Henry Award. He has won approximately 100 awards altogether. The best aspect of King's writing, besides the creativity and interesting narrative, is the characterization. Through his work, Stephen King has created some of literature's most memorable and iconic characters, such as Pennywise and Jack Torrance. Stephen King, undoubtedly one of the most iconic and successful authors of the 20th and 21st century. I am ending my presentation with one of the most famous sayings from his movie The Shining, red rum. This saying I'm sure everybody has said and done with their finger. If you haven't done it, I suggest you give it a try. Again, this is Wendy Fritz. This is my presentation on Stephen King. Thank you very much. Red rum.